Welcome back, my curious listeners. Tonight's story comes from the point of view of someone just like you, someone who couldn't resist the pull of the unknown. This is the tale of a curious viewer who stumbled across a YouTube account that was never meant to be found. Username 666. Once you click, once you watch, it's too late. But don't take my word for it. See it through their eyes. Put on your headphones and settle in, because curiosity comes at a price. Have you ever heard of the YouTube account username 6666? It's one of those internet myths that sounds too ridiculous to believe. Something that started on forums and spread like wildfire, becoming a part of urban legend. According to the rumor, if you search for username 6666 and try to access the channel, you'll be led down a rabbit hole of disturbing videos. But that's not the worst part. The legend says that once you see those videos, they'll begin to see you too. And once they do, well, let's just say no one really knows what happens next. I never believed it, of course. I mean, YouTube accounts that curse you sounds like something straight out of a low-budget horror movie. Still, my curiosity always got the better of me, and that's how I found myself sitting in front of my laptop at 2 a.m., typing username 666 into the search bar. I didn't expect much to happen, but what I found, well, it's something I'll never forget. It all started on a boring Friday night. My friends were out at some party I didn't feel like going to, so I was scrolling mindlessly through Reddit when I stumbled across a thread titled YouTube accounts that shouldn't exist. Normally, I would have skipped right past it, but something about the title caught my attention. The top comment was a short, cryptic message. Don't search for username 6666. Don't say I didn't warn you. Now, I've seen my fair share of creepy internet stories. Slender Man, the Russian sleep experiment, you name it. But this one? It felt different. The comment had hundreds of upvotes, and the replies were filled with people either daring each other to look it up or swearing they'd never go near it again. I couldn't help myself. It's just an account, right? Some prankster messing with people's heads. So, with a smirk, I opened a new tab and typed username 6geek6 into YouTube's search bar. Nothing came up. Just a list of random, unrelated videos. Of course, I thought. It's just a stupid internet myth. But then, something strange happened. As I scrolled through the results, my screen glitched. It wasn't the kind of glitch where your computer freezes up. It was more like the screen flickered for a second, just long enough to make me stop. I waited, half expecting my laptop to crash, but the page reset itself. Only now, there was a single result at the top of the search page. 6666. Official YouTube channel. I stared at the link. My heart raced for a reason I couldn't explain. The thumbnail was a black square, completely blank. No description, no views, just nothing. I hesitated. I knew I shouldn't click it, but something in the back of my mind whispered, just one click won't hurt. It's probably a joke anyway. I clicked the link. The channel itself was bare. No profile picture, no banner, nothing. Just a list of videos, each one numbered. No titles, just timestamps. The first video was 13 seconds long. The second, 6 minutes and 66 seconds. Well, 7:06. But the eerie number wasn't lost on me. The thumbnails were all distorted images, too pixelated to make out any details. I hovered over the first video, my finger hesitating over the play button. My gut told me to stop, but I ignored it and clicked play. The screen went black for a few seconds before flickering to life. At first it was just static, the kind of static you'd see on an old TV. Then, slowly, the image came into focus. It was a room, a plain, empty room. The camera was fixed on the corner, and the walls were painted a sickly yellow. The lighting was dim, almost too dim to see anything clearly. The room was completely empty, save for a single wooden chair in the center. For 13 seconds, nothing happened. The camera didn't move. There was no sound, no music, just the unsettling stillness of that empty room. Then, the screen cut to black. I blinked at the screen, feeling a strange mix of disappointment and unease. That was it. Just a creepy, empty room. I let out a nervous laugh. Okay, weird, but not exactly nightmare fuel. But something about the video gnawed at me. It was too off. The emptiness of the room, the eerie silence, It was like something was supposed to be there but wasn't. I decided to check the second video. This one was longer, 7 minutes. The same empty room, but this time, something was different. The lighting was darker and the air felt heavier, like the atmosphere had changed. And then I noticed it. The chair was closer to the camera, as if it had been moved slightly. I squinted at the screen, trying to figure out if it was just a trick of the light or if the chair had really shifted. The video continued, nothing but stillness and silence. I leaned in, feeling my heartbeat pick up. I was waiting for something to happen, some kind of jump scare, but it never came. Instead, after what felt like an eternity, the chair moved. Just a little. Barely noticeable, but it was enough to make my breath catch. It scraped against the floor, the sound so faint I wasn't sure if I had imagined it. My eyes were glued to the screen now, my nerves on edge. Something was wrong. I could feel it, like the room itself was watching me through the screen. And then, the screen cut to black again. My hands were shaking. I had no idea why. I wasn't usually scared by stuff like this, but there was something about these videos, something that felt wrong on a level I couldn't explain. I clicked back to the channel page, and that's when I noticed it. A new video had been uploaded. It hadn't been there before. I was sure of it. The video had no timestamp like the others. The thumbnail was just a swirling mess of static, and my stomach dropped. My instincts screamed at me to shut my laptop and forget the whole thing, but I couldn't. I had to know what was in that video. I clicked it. The screen went black for a long time. I almost thought the video was broken when slowly, the image faded in. It was the same room, but the chair was gone. The camera had moved too, closer to the far wall, as if it were standing where the chair had been. The walls looked dirtier now, stained with something dark that I couldn't make out in the dim light. And then I saw it. A figure. In the corner. Its back was to the camera, hunched over like it was crouching in the shadows. My breath caught in my throat. I leaned closer to the screen, trying to make out the details. The figure didn't move, didn't make a sound. It just sat there, barely visible in the darkness. Suddenly, the figure twitched. I jumped, my heart racing. The figure slowly turned its head and my blood ran cold. I couldn't see its face. It was blurred, distorted, like the video was glitching, but I could feel it staring at me through the screen, its head cocked to one side, as if curious. Then, in a voice barely louder than a whisper, I heard it. "I see you." The screen went black. I slammed my laptop shut, my heart pounding in my chest. My room was too quiet, the silence pressing in on me. I reached for my phone, desperate to check the time. 3 a.m. I rubbed my eyes, trying to shake off the feeling of dread that had settled in my gut. I needed to sleep, to forget about the videos and the eerie message. But when I opened my laptop again, the browser was still open. The video had finished playing, but the channel page was still up. And that's when I saw it. The username had changed. It was no longer username 666. It was my name, my real name. My blood turned to ice. I stared at the screen, my mind racing. Was it a trick? A glitch? I clicked refresh, hoping it was just a mistake. But when the page loaded again, the username was still mine. And there, at the top of the page, was a new video. The thumbnail was a still image of my room, my exact room. The timestamp was set to just a few seconds ago. I felt the air leave my lungs. I wanted to run, to close my laptop and never think about the channel again. But I couldn't. My hands moved on their own, clicking the play button. The screen went black for a moment before flickering to life. It was my room. The camera angle was fixed, as if someone had placed a hidden camera in the corner. I could see myself sitting at my desk, watching the very video I had just clicked on. The video was live, streaming in real time. I stared in horror, realizing that someone was watching me, but it didn't make sense. I was alone in my room. I hadn't seen or heard anyone come in. Suddenly, the video feed glitched, and I saw it. The figure from the earlier video, the one hunched in the corner, was now in my room. It stood just behind me, barely visible in the shadow. Its face was still blurred, but I could feel its eyes boring into the back of my head. And then, in a low, distorted voice, it spoke again. "I see you." The video feed cut out. I spun around in my chair, my heart racing, but the room was empty. There was no one there, no figure, no shadow, just me and the silence. But something was wrong. I could feel it. I turned back to my laptop, my hands shaking. The channel page was still open, but the username had changed again. It was no longer my name. It was yours. And so, the next time you're scrolling late at night, remember that not every channel is meant to be watched. If you search for username 666, just remember, once it knows your name, there's no turning back. The digital world holds more than we can understand, and it may not let you leave so easily. Until next time, my friends, sweet dreams, and beware the things that see you from the other side.